Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of my film reviews, the African Film Review Show. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for all of you who commented and liked the video with the previous one. I really appreciate it. On today's episode, I will be reviewing a film called Kukurantumi, Road to Accra, which is a Ghanaian movie that was made in the 1980s by King Amapw. Now, the film effectively is a story about a people who live in a rural area of Ghana, in a very religious, very traditional household, who fall in love. Well, the daughter of this man fall in love. And this daughter, she falls in love with a local, I suppose he's a palm wine tapper, which is basically a guy who extracts palm wine for sale. And the father doesn't approve. Now, the father has his own internal dramas. Now, the father, he transports people between Accra and their village and also other parts of Ghana. And basically, his truck breaks down, but he needs to find money to get his truck fixed. And so what he does is, instead of, well, I don't want to judge the guy, but basically what he actually does is he goes to pretty much exchange his daughter's hand in marriage to a very wealthy guy who gives him a truck. Now, all sorts of stuff ensues, and I don't want to spoil it for you.
So from where do you get your watches?
Oh, from America, Japan, London, Switzerland, Germany, Lagos, from everywhere.
This is a film where it shows traditional African structures which have been, I suppose, transformed by the new wave of capitalism. You see, in reality, African people, prior to the arrival of the Europeans, we didn't really have this sort of money culture, this I will exchange something for cash. There was always some sort of arrangement. And unfortunately, when the cash structures first came in, it basically took a lot of the things that we held as valuable, and it meant that we had to start exchanging them for money, for a piece of paper, some coins, whatever. Now, not to say that none of these things existed in the past, but certainly across the continent, these are not things that were widely used in the way that they are. So unfortunately, this man looks at everything. He doesn't have the cash, and so what he does is he exchanges his daughter's hand in marriage. Now, the daughter, needless to say, doesn't approve. And all sorts of drama happens. She actually runs to Accra and she stays with a friend of hers who's a prostitute, for lack of a better word.
Mary, let me also be nice. Bob will like it. It might attract him to follow me to Accra. It may even encourage him to ask my father if we can get married.
It's not easy talking to your father. Do you think he'll accept Bob?
The only thing that the film kind of lacks for me is it just, even though the actors were very natural, there was a little bit of energy that was lacking in some places. But apart from that, it's a fantastic film. It's one of the most interesting films that you could see that depicts kind of I suppose the post-colonial, the kind of migration of people from rural areas to the cities, and also the flaws that young ladies, the flaws that young men have to encounter. Not flaws, but the issues that young men and young women have to encounter when they move to these cities, and the things that they have to go through in order to survive there. Because remember, these are people who have lived in a particular community for hundreds of years, and then all of a sudden their children are having to move to the cities to find work because of this monetary desire. And unfortunately, some turn to prostitution, some have to drive trucks, some have to do unsavory acts in order to survive.
Here, take this.
Thank you.
But anyway, the film has one of the most interesting opening sequences ever. It begins in a market, and you have this very wide, it must be a jib or a crane shot that they have, where they show the truck exiting the market to this very wide shot. This is akin to probably one of the opening sequences. I think the opening sequence in Malcolm X, pretty similar to that. It's kind of wide, showing you the entire town. And I know for a fact it would have been difficult, at least in the early 1980s, to get that done. But I know also that African people are cooperative when you film with them in some places, because this is one of the busiest markets in Accra.
Sit down, big dog, yes. Good boy, yes.
Ade, take all the watches away from my room, eh?
King Amphaw, who is one of the pioneers of Ghanaian filmmaking, I would say, he was honored at the African Movie Academy Awards. He's also featured in Werner Herzog's film Cobra Verde, which is effectively the story of the Dahomey Kingdom, which I've just finished a documentary on, called Dahomey and Voodoo.
Kofi? Yes.
You've taken the meat out of my mouth, are they?
Oh, I'm sorry, Kofi. I've been looking for you everywhere, and the door was open.
I'm not working today. I sold 3 watches yesterday, so I'm staying home today. TikTok, cheap watches, TikTok. Look, am I a monkey to go on doing this play every day?
I've got something better for you than this monkey play.
You
wait and see, Kofi.
Kukurantumi, Road to Accra is a fantastic film. I hope you all check it out. Like many of the films that I've been talking about, it's also available for free on YouTube. How long it's going to be available for, I don't know, but please check it out and please enjoy. Thank you. Please like, please share, please subscribe, and I hope to see you on the next one. Dalo.